Okay, so today we're going to dive into something pretty basic, but really important.
Yeah,
It's all about feeling safe where you live, you know?
absolutely.
We've got this website called Apartment Neighborhoods, and we're going to kind of like go through their take on this idea of safe apartments,
Right.
specifically here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah. And I think, for anyone who's maybe thinking about, moving to Charlotte or even just switching apartments within the city,
Yeah.
this idea that, there are safe places readily available is definitely appealing, right?
For sure. For sure.
This source seems to be suggesting that Charlotte is kind of like a place where you can find that,
Right.
which could be a pretty big deal, for your peace of mind.
Absolutely.
Oh,
So, okay, let's kind of unpack this a little bit based on what this Apartment Neighborhoods site is saying.
okay.
When you hear that phrase, safe apartments in Charlotte, what like jumps out at you?
Hmm.
Because, safe can mean a lot of different things to different people,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
what's your initial reaction to that?
Well, I think it's interesting that they're leading with this whole safety thing.
Right.
It kind of makes you wonder, what's behind that claim, you know?
Yeah.
Is it because the properties are well maintained and, they have all these security features?
Right.
Or is it more about the neighborhoods themselves
Yeah.
where these apartments are located?
Yeah.
The website doesn't immediately tell us those details,
Right.
but they're definitely putting this emphasis on safety right up front.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it definitely sets up a certain expectation, I think. If
Mhm.
you're someone who, is really prioritizing security in your living situation, seeing a city presented this way,
Right.
it makes you want to learn more, doesn't it?
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
like, they're saying, hey, if feeling safe at home is really important to you,
Yeah.
Charlotte's a place you should check out.
Exactly. And it really raises the question, like,
Yeah.
what does a safe apartment actually mean?
Yeah.
Are we talking about, things like controlled access,
Mhm.
security cameras, or even just like a visible security presence?
Uh-huh.
Or does it go deeper than that?
Right.
Is it also about like the overall crime rates in the area
Yeah.
and the general feel of the community?
Right, right.
I mean, both of those things probably play into, you know, how safe someone feels.
That's a really important distinction, I think, because, feeling safe inside your apartment building might
Yeah.
be one thing, but then feeling secure, like walking around your neighborhood,
Yeah.
is a whole other level of, peace of mind.
Totally.
It seems like this website is suggesting that Charlotte offers both, you
It,
know?
it does, yeah. And if we kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture,
Yeah.
it kind of suggests that the rental market in Charlotte might be really focused on this need for security.
Mhm.
Maybe there's a really big demand for it from people who live there.
Right.
And, the market's responding by making it a priority.
Wow.
Or maybe there are even like city initiatives or community programs that are contributing to this perception of safety.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, like, okay, let's say you were, looking at apartments in Charlotte based on this information.
Mhm.
What kind of practical questions would you start asking?
Right.
What would you be looking for to kind of like validate this whole safe apartments idea?
Well, you'd probably start by looking at crime statistics for different neighborhoods within Charlotte.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basic, right?
Yeah.
You'd also want to ask about specific security measures
Yeah.
at the actual apartment complexes themselves.
Well, right, right.
Things like, do they have locked gates?
Yeah.
Do they have security patrols?
Right.
Are there security systems in each unit?
Yeah, the nuts and bolts of it,
Chatty.
because safe as a marketing term is one thing.
Yeah.
But knowing the actual features and the actual safety record of a particular area
Right.
is what really matters when you're making a decision about where to live.
100%. I
Yeah.
mean, and while this source is painting this kind of positive picture of Charlotte in terms of safety,
Right.
it's always good to remember that this is just one perspective, right?
Right.
Your own research is really key.
Yeah.
So looking into different neighborhoods and properties yourself
Absolutely.
is definitely the next logical step.
Okay, so for those listening at home, just to kind of sum up what we've talked about so far,
Okay.
the main takeaway from this website, Apartment Neighborhoods,
Hmm.
is that they're presenting Charlotte as a place where you can expect to find these secure living options.
Yeah.
They're really highlighting safety as a major characteristic
Right.
of the city's apartment market.
And that kind of raises an interesting question for everyone listening.
Yeah.
When you think about your ideal living situation,
Right.
What actually makes you feel safe and secure?
Yeah.
Is it, physical things like fences and gates?
Right.
Or is it more about the people in the community
Yeah.
or something else entirely?
Yeah.
Really think about what's important to you because that's going to shape how you evaluate potential apartments, whether you're looking at Charlotte or anywhere else.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So to wrap up our deep dive into apartment neighborhoods today,
Okay.
the core insight is that Charlotte, North Carolina
Mm-hmm.
is being portrayed as a place where finding safe apartments is like a key feature.
Yeah.
They're really selling this idea of security
Right.
and a sense of, well-being for residents.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And for anyone considering Charlotte,
Yeah.
this suggests that the availability of secure housing
Right.
is something they're actively promoting,
Absolutely.
which could actually make your search a lot easier
Uh-huh.
if safety is a top priority for you.
Totally.
And as you think about, your next steps,
Yeah.
whether you're seriously looking at Charlotte or just kind of thinking about what's important to you in a living environment in general,
Mm-hmm.
take some time to really define what peace of mind at home means to you.
Yeah.
How do those broad claims of a website like apartment neighborhoods line up with your own specific needs
Right.
and expectations for safety and security?
That's a good point.
It's definitely something to think about as you do your own exploring.
For sure.
All right, that's all the time we have for today.
Great talking with you.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
See ya.
We'll see you next time.